Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here on the 10th of March, Mario Day, 2021, to talk about everything that went down tonight at AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT. Also, why does my light look so dim? Let's do this. We're going to screw with the lighting really fast, guys. Make it look better. Live on the spot. There we go. That looks a whole lot better. All right. We're here to talk about Dynamite. We're here to talk about NXT. I thought NXT overall was a pretty good show. I kind of wasn't feeling the first half of Dynamite, but the second half of Dynamite got really good. Both shows had, I think, just tremendous ends. Both shows ended on a tremendous high note, building up future stuff, and we'll get into all of that. But again, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight to talk about both of these shows, whether you're watching on twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited or you're watching on youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. I thank you. Remember, if you are watching over on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits. Also, if you are watching on Twitch, you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription or for free with Amazon Prime, because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. With your Prime Gaming subscription, you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and we would greatly appreciate it if you subscribed. Use that free subscription right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. On the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out over there in the live chat with either a super chat or a super sticker donation. All super chat donations do get read live on the air. Also, you can subscribe to the channel and become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to some exclusive news that we put out, like we did earlier this week, and you get early access to non-news videos, like the one we put out last week about and we have an NXT one coming up soon. Non-news videos, one we did last week about WWE World Champions only winning the title because of, Money in the Bank. I also do have a video coming out soon, probably next week, not sooner, about the first NXT Performance Center class. But with that, we're here to talk about Dynamite. We're here to talk about NXT. Let's start talking about NXT. As I wait for a few more of you to jump into the live chat, we're going to get our polls going really fast. What did you think of tonight's AEW Dynamite? Liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. All right, the poll is live on Twitch. Get that same poll going for our viewers on YouTube. I liked it. It was all right. I didn't. Yeah. Okay, why is it telling me I spelled didn't wrong? Because I know I didn't. There we go. All right, polls are live on both YouTube and Twitch. Let's start by talking about AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite has a new opening video featuring footage from Revolution and some of their new stars like Ethan Page and Christian Cage. First match of the night did see Rey Fenix taking on Matt Jackson. And to be honest, this may have been the only thing I liked in the first almost hour of the show, to be honest. If I'm looking, yeah, in that first hour-ish, maybe one of them, not the only thing I particularly liked. Now, I said on Twitter, and I'll read my tweet of what I actually said. Most people didn't agree with me, and I didn't think they would because you got them AEW loyalists who won't say anything bad about AEW. But I said, let's see if I can find it. Some may not agree, but AEW Dynamite has not been particularly good. Not been a particularly good show so far tonight. I had many people not agreeing with me. Most people were like, this is the best show they've done in years. This is the best Dynamite in years. And I don't know if I'd go that far. It got better over time. Second hour of that show was a lot better than the first. But as we go, we had Ray Phoenix versus Matt Jackson. And they told us multiple times, this is the first time that these two have ever squared off one-on-one. They've wrestled multiple times in tag team competition all around the world, but this is the first time they've ever faced off in a singles match. So, Phoenix dropped Matt with a drop kick early. As we see SCU, who apparently is the new top-ranked tag team in All Elite Wrestling, watching on from the stands. And here's what I think is going to happen with SCU. So if you're unaware, Christopher Daniels basically said, I'm done. I don't think I'm up for this anymore. I'm going to go work in the back. Frankie, you can go and do a singles run. And Frankie told him, no. CD, I got one more proposition for you. He said, we'll keep teaming. But the first time we take a loss, we can end it. But give me that. Give me that. And Christopher Daniels agreed. The next time we take an actual loss in an actual tag match and the Battle Royal didn't count, they're going to lose. They're going to break up. They're going to be done. SCU is over. And I think what's going to happen is they're eventually going to challenge the Young Bucks. And that's the match they lose. And that's the match that they go out on. They want to go out on the possibly best match they can. Not saying that no other tag team can give them great matches, but I think the best bet they have to have their best match in AEW is with the Young Bucks. They've worked the Young Bucks countless times in the past as bad reputation, as SCU, and Ring of Honor, and so forth. So, I mean, why not? It could be at the pay-per-view Double or Nothing. I doubt it's going to be a Double or Nothing. It could be on a special edition of Dynamite. I don't know. I know Phoenix and Pac are the current number one contenders. I don't know when they're going to get their title shot, but I would assume SCU gets their title shot after, because AEW does like to do things in order of how they're announced. But regardless, I do think that SCU will face the Bucks. That's the match they're going to lose, and that's the match they ended on. But we saw SCU, like I said, watching from the stands. Phoenix kept the advantage with a springboard with some springboard offense, I guess you can call it. He faked a dive and then took Matt down with a dive after he fakes one dive and then goes for another dive right after. Phoenix then hits a springboard headbutt and sent Matt to the floor yet again. Phoenix landed both a diving armbar and a tope con heel. The beatdown continued with chops, and the two exchanged even more chops as Matt kind of slowly started to take over. As Matt was starting to get his little footing, though, Phoenix tried to take Matt down with a Hurricane Rana, and Matt countered it with a powerbomb. A slingshot senton from Matt followed up for a 2 count. Matt targeted Phoenix's back and hit a facebuster. I don't know what that word was I wrote before it. A facebuster for a 2. Matt applied a sharpshooter, and Phoenix forced his way out by reaching the ropes for the break. The two traded right hands in the center of the ring. Then Phoenix hit a limb trap slam for a 2. Matt tried to suplex Phoenix out of the ring, and Phoenix tried to counter it with a rope walk kick, but Matt had it scouted and came into the ring with a destroyer. Matt at one point landed a top rope elbow drop for a near fall before reapplying the sharpshooter. Phoenix fought his way to the ropes yet again to get out of it, and Nick took a bullet for Matt. Then Matt got revenge by super kicking Pac on the floor. They traded strikes once more before Matt flipped out of the German suplex and landed a super kick. They traded some more strikes. They even traded off some super kicks. Out of nowhere, though, Phoenix then hoisted Matt up. Fire Thunder Driver. Boom, bang, boom. Picked up the victory. Phoenix does defeat Matt Jackson in this match tonight in lieu of their tag team title match upcoming. We don't know when, but Tony Khan said we won't have to wait too long. He said we won't have to wait too long. He said that on the media scrum after, not Dynamite, but after Revolution. So then we got this was just, oh my God. They're trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Explain why Eddie Kingston sold the bomb, the explosion, like he was dead. Eddie Kingston and Moxley in some room. They got like a table in front of them with a fire pit on the table. And Eddie Kingston goes, well, you're probably going to call me dumb and say that you don't believe me. But the reason I basically passed out at the end of Revolution when I tried to save my boy Mox here, because I ended up having a flashback to a darker time. Time where I was scared. When I was in jail. Basically said he had a panic attack and passed out. But he's like, I knew that bomb was going to go off. I thought it was going to be worse than it was. And it led me to having a flashback to a worser time. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Come on, bro. Who believes this shit? He then would call out Omega, asking if this was all nothing more than a joke. Moxley spoke up and said they thought Omega tried to really blow them up. They came to the agreement that Impact must have built this bomb. So dumb. Stupid! Moxley said he didn't win the championship, but he did win a drinking buddy back. He and Kingston had some funny banter here before Moxley told Omega he had a weapon. He should have better used it. This is the dumbest shit ever. Now they're blaming it on Impact. Oh, Impact built a shitty bomb. First it was, oh, Moxley's a hell of a competitor. No, Omega's a hell of a competitor, but he can't build a bomb worth of shit. Now it's, oh, Impact must have built it. Are you fucking kidding me? Get out of here with this stuff. Just admit, the bomb didn't go off as planned. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. We slipped on the banana peel. And just let it fucking go. Because we got more of this from fucking Kenny later. Cody's got a match. He's out there with Arn. He takes on some guy named Seth Gargis that I've never heard of. Cody hit an Alabama Stampede right away. Then locked on a figure four and picked up the victory. Tony Schiavone came out with a microphone to interview Cody. Microphone wouldn't work. One of a couple audio issues tonight. So they did some shtick before they got one that did work. He asked Cody about his shoulder when Penta El Cero Miedo would interrupt with Alex Amberhansens. I think I said his name right. Alex Amberhansens. The freaking Spanish commentary guy and the comedy geek on BTE. So, I don't even know where to start. This was bad. I didn't like this at all. Basically, Amber Hansen was out there as the translator for Pentagon. I hope he doesn't end up being Penta's manager as well. But he told Cody to shut up. And that he's 1,000 times better than he'll ever be. He said if Cody's the quote-unquote prince of pro wrestling, then Penta is the lord of lucha libre. And he was, again, translating for Penta. Then Penta just starts speaking English on his own and sounds perfectly fine. I mean, we've heard worse people with, broken English speak on a good level on television in wrestling. I mean, remember Lucha Underground? Anyways, Pentagon was perfectly fine with his English. I don't think he needs the translator. But he said that Cody lost the Revolution. And he made it just. And had it not been for Penta and Cody, it would have been an. Hold on, I wrote this wrong. Let me rephrase this. He said, if he would have had his way, Cody would have actually lost even worse. He said he would have hurt Cody's arm so bad that Cody would not even be able to pick up his soon-to-be-born baby girl. Cody flipped out, jumped over the barricade, ran to Penta. The two brawled for about 10 seconds before they were pulled apart. This is bad. This is really bad. I don't want to see Alexander Hansen's, and I don't know if this is what's going to happen, but if he's going to be some sort of a manager for Penta, he needs to not be doing this goofy stuff on BTE. I'm going to say it right now. It looks like they're trying to build up Penta as a believable, strong heel. But when you look at BTE, and I know the two aren't technically really supposed to be connected, you've got Alexander Hansen doing this stuff on BTE where he's drinking the Dark Order's Kool-Aid. And he's now doing skits, and it's like some Dark Order Kai where they're making fun of Cobra Kai. And it's like, no. We know that we've never seen this guy 100% taken seriously, other than on like the pre-shows and stuff where he's or the post-shows too, where he's recapping and previewing stuff. But as a quote-unquote character, he's never been taken seriously. He's always been a comedy guy. And it's just because that's how we've always ever seen him with this company, I couldn't take any of this seriously with them having him out here with Pentagon. I don't know if he's going to be Penta's manager going forward or something, but I hope not. Because I really did not like the dynamic there. Next up, we got Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. They cut a promo from an arcade. Chuck asked Miro for one more match, so this fucking bullshit ain't over. He added, though, there'll be a stipulation. If they lose, Chuck goes back to being Miro's butler forever. And when you add that forever tag on it, you know if this match gets made, who's going to win? They also said, why don't we take some of this? And they said, video game machinery stuff that you guys like so much and put it around ringside so we can throw your heads into it. So instead of a lumberjacks, going to be a bunch of wrestling cabinets surrounding the ring, and they're going to bump into them. So I wish this was just done and Miro winning at the pay-per-view was it. I don't need to see more Miro and Kip against Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. I honestly don't. I really thought that at the pay-per-view, they also blew off Kip and Miro next time we see him and Kip, was going to blow up on Kip because Kip got mad that Miro accidentally bumped Penelope off the apron. Miro didn't give two shits and looked like he wanted to kill Kip. But if we keep doing this stuff, and no offense to Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, with Miro, Kip, Orange, and Chuck, how are we going to take Miro serious as a big monster? The big monster they want him to be. Because they're not, again, another thing they're not taking serious enough. So we get Tony Schiavone and he introduces Sting. What's new? Tony and Sting talking it up. Sting said that Darby Allin is a dangerous man and a risk taker. As he talks about Darby putting Darby over, Lance Archer and Jake Roberts would come out, and all they said was, "You're wasting time. Things don't change. You're taking other people's time." And Lance Archer's just like, "Come on, let's do something. Why do we need this?" And then Sting says something. I can't remember exactly what. I didn't write it down. And Lance is just like, "All right, I'm going to leave now." And Jake goes on and is like, "Yeah, Stinger." And then they leave. And Sting was kind of just like, "What was that?" And it was just over. So fucking random. It doesn't want to be in Sting versus Lance Archer. And that's how you build it? With Lance Archer coming out just saying, "Why are you taking up everybody's time?" So weird. So weird. Going forward, they tried to show a QT Marshall Lee Johnson interview, but then they started having really bad technical difficulties where it made it almost impossible to hear. Same thing happened during the Ethan Page interview before their match with Ethan Page and Lee Johnson, and throughout the entire Ethan Page-Lee Johnson match. So I don't know what happened here, but soon as the QT promo started in the back, we started to get audio dubbed over from a basketball game. And I don't know what basketball game it was, but you can hear defense, da, da, defense, da, da, defense, and then dun, 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 dun. And at one time, you also heard, "Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far. And I go, are we watching Remember the Titans right now? Like, fuck. So I couldn't really concentrate during much of this match when I tried to watch it. I know there was some back and forth between Ethan Page and Lee Johnson. I felt it went a little too long. Ethan Page should have been more dominant in this match as it is his Dynamite debut. But whatever. At one point, I think Johnson came back with back elbow and a neck breaker. He followed this up with the Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2. They both went to the top rope where Page dumped Johnson down with a body slam and sprung into a cutter for a near fall. Page, at the end of this match, would hit what they call the Ego's Edge, his version of the Razor's Edge, and picked up the victory. Now, I want to look something up. Correct me, or let me know in the live chat. Has this always been Ethan Page's finish? I don't remember what his finishing move was in Impact. And his Wikipedia doesn't have a finishing move listed. Let's see his fandom page. Fandom page says, yeah, I don't think his fandom page has a finisher either. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, that's okay. He did like a slingshot cutter and a package pile driver. That's what I thought. I remember him doing that pile driver in Impact a lot. So now in AEW, his finish is going to be a Razor's Edge. Okay, cool. I guess. I mean, it's not like AEW has too many big guys to where he's not going to be able to get them up for the move. In AEW, the only people that are really bigger than him is like Wardlow. Most guys are right around Ethan Page, 6 foot to 6'2", right around 200 to 220 pounds. So, cool. I thought the match went a little too long for his singles match debut. I thought he should have had a more dominant looking match and not taken so much offense from Lee Johnson. But that's just my opinion. After the match, Page continued to beat down. QT Marshall didn't give any effort to try and help Lee Johnson. Dustin Rhodes would then come out to make the save as Marshall walked out the building. Not just walked back to the back, but walked out. So then, don't even get me started on this one. We were told Christian Cage will speak. We will hear from Christian Cage tonight. Tony Schiavone starts saying, this past Sunday night at Revolution, we saw one of the biggest signings in AEW finally come. Starts hyping up Christian Cage, and he calls for Christian Cage, and Kenny Omega would come out. And the girls would come out with the brooms, and Tony goes, is this part of Christian's theme song or entrance? Now would come Kenny Omega, Don Callis, and the Good Brothers. TNA all over again, ladies and gentlemen. Christian comes in and immediately thrown into the title picture. Like he's immediately thrown in there with the world champion. Just like when he came into TNA. But here's the difference. When he came into TNA, I mean, what did he have, like less than a month between his last WWE match and him debuting in TNA? He hasn't had a real singles match in 7 years. If not longer. Hold on. Other than the Rumble, Christian hasn't had a real match. 7 years. Oh, no. Literally, we are coming up, again, other than the Royal Rumble, and I don't count that bullshit on Raw last year with Randy Orton, we are literally 2 weeks away from the 7-year anniversary of Christian's last actual match, which was a fatal 4-way match where he defeated Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler, and Sheamus to become the #1 contender for Big E's Intercontinental Championship. His last actual singles match was the night before at a house show where he, coincidentally, on the Big Show. Christian's last singles match was against the Big Show. So, Big Show was the one that introduced-ish Christian Cage to AEW. But this is TNA all over again. He comes right in and boom, we're throwing him in the top. Boom, he's working the champion. Callis said that we're not going to get to hear from the new signee tonight because they call the shots in All Elite Wrestling. He said that at everything in Revolution that went according to plan, well, except for one thing. He said they're getting blamed for not delivering a giant explosion, but it made them very happy. Take away what the fans actually wanted to see. They took away Moxley's big hero moment and Kingston's heroism. Basically, they're saying that they threw a dud out there on purpose because that's what the fans would have wanted, a real explosion. And now, because of the dud, it made Eddie Kingston look bad. Callis called it a win-win. If the explosion goes off, Moxley is maimed. If not, Moxley looks like an idiot. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Omega said he was getting goosebumps, imagining seeing Moxley get vaporized in the ring. But now, he will cherish the memory of not only beating Moxley, but humiliating him and Kingston. And this is when Kingston would come out. Before he could speak, Callis talked about Kingston's talents and Kingston working for him in Impact Wrestling. He said, you know what happened when you worked for me in Impact? I fired you. Because every time you got close to success, you screwed it up. Callis gave Kingston 10 seconds to retreat. Then they mocked Kingston. The 10-second clock came up on the screen. Omega jumped on the floor and said, 69 me, Don. Don Callis jumped on Kenny Omega just like Eddie Kingston jumped on Moxley. And nothing happened. This was utter garbage. People thought this was funny and entertaining. I thought this was hot garbage. Omega asked what Kingston hoped to accomplish by challenging Kenny Omega, and then, challenged Kingston to hit him. He said, hit me. Once Kingston obliged, he was immediately attacked by the Good Brothers. Moxley would run out to make the save, and he and Kingston cleared house. Another countdown would come up on the screen. 8, 9, 7, 6, and JR goes, what could this be? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And Christian comes out, and Tony Schiavone goes, well, it's Christian Cage, JR. We saw this. That's his music. And Jim Ross goes, well, he hasn't been around much, and I haven't heard that a lot, so, yeah, that's why I didn't know who it was. I'm like, what? God damn. Christian would run out. Christian Cage, that is. He stared off with Omega. Omega tried a cheap shot at Christian, but Christian had it scouted. Callis pulled Omega out of the ring as Christian was going for, I guess you could call it the unprettier, or whatever they're going to call it in AEW. They kept saying, Christian's going to drop him on his head. Christian's going to drop him on his head. And as Callis pulled Omega out of the ring, Christian picked up and held up the AEW World Championship over his head. So I thought maybe we'd get a 6-man. Christian, Moxley, Kingston, Omega Good Brothers. But it was announced for next week, which they are calling St. Patrick's Day Slam. It's actually going to be the Good Brothers versus Kingston and Moxley. I don't know when we get Kenny versus Christian, but it looks like it's coming. It looks like it's coming. Christian going to get a world title match in his debut. What is this? The Giant in WCW? Hold on. I want to look up one other thing. What was Christian's first TNA match? Was it a title match? I don't remember. I can look it up here really quickly, though. Christian. All right, Christian's first. Yep. No, I'm wrong. Christian, and when Christian came into TNA, his first match was against Bobby Roode. His second match, he beat Monty Brown to become the number 1 contender. Then he didn't get the title match until his 6th match. Also, interesting stat that people don't realize, Christian Cage, even though he was a two-time champion in TNA, NWA's World Heavyweight Champion, he was undefeated. He only ever lost in like multi-man matches. Like when he lost the title, that wasn't a King of the Mountain match. I'm 99% sure. I could double check that actually. No. Okay. So in TNA proper, he was undefeated. Now in NEW, he did lose a TNA World title match to Kurt Angle when Kurt was the champion. But when you look at... No, okay. So now that I'm looking at this, I'm kind of right in saying that Christian was undefeated. Christian was undefeated on television in TNA. He did lose to Kurt on indies and house shows, but on televised TNA events, Christian was undefeated and lost the world title in the King of the Mountain match. Yeah. He lost the world title in the King of the Mountain match. But on NXT, or not NXT, TNA television, Christian never lost a match on television for TNA. And now it looks like Christian's going to come in here, and his first match may just be a world title match. He's not even going to go out here and beat like Peter Avalon or Cesar Bononi or Lee Johnson or Aaron Solo first to say, hey, look what I can do in the ring. Pick up a win or two on Dynamite. No. They're just going straight to the top with him. And we all should have saw it coming when Tony said that I'm happy to have Christian here and throw him into the mix in our main event with our main event guys. Cool. Literally, the guy hasn't worked a singles match in 7 years. I'm not saying he can't. Give him a fucking warm-up match, though. He's done what? The Royal Rumble? That's it? The last 7 years? Because you can't call that 60-second atrocity that he did with Randy on Raw last year anything other than motivation to get himself cleared. But with that, we move on to a 6-woman tag team match that was all right, but had a horrible start. So it's Hikaru Shida, Ryo Mizunami, Thunder Rosa against Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Maki Ito. So start getting the entrances. Britt Baker comes out. Nyla Rose comes out. Maki Ito comes out. Maki Ito starts doing her singing. And the babyfaces come out and attack the heels. And they're all brawling at ringside, even with Vicky Guerrero fucking choking out the AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida with a kendo stick. Yeah, I said that. Vicky Guerrero was choking out Shida with a kendo stick. And Maki Ito is still on the stage. Fight! Come on, you know, whatever. I don't know Japanese, so I can't sing the song back. And then she finishes her song. Shida runs at Maki Ito. Maki Ito sidesteps Shida. And then she got the microphone. Like, pretend this comb is the microphone. My mic is Shida's head. She goes, "Wah! Wah! Wah!" Like, really? I get that stuff gets over in Japan, doing like the little comedy goof stuff, like when she did the crying at Revolution. But I don't know how well that's going to get over here in America. Maki Ito, the fans like her. But I don't know. I thought that was a little where she saw all these women brawling, but all she cared about was finishing her song. Oh, the fight. Like, really? No. As far as the matches go, Ito immediately missed a Kokeshi, but was able to do her what they called cutest in the world stick. She'd have fought her off and tagged in Mizunami, who did a rope pull stick, her little, I'm a mime, I'm going to pull you in with the ropes, or I'm going to pull myself to you. I mean, they're doing all their Japan stuff that gets over in Japan. Finally, Rosa and Rose got tagged in. Rosa lays in some kicks and some strikes, but a distraction from Vicky Guerrero allowed Rose to hit a lariat ahead of a commercial break. The Hills were in control when we came back. Cheetah tried to make a comeback at one point and attempted to suplex on Baker. They completely whiffed it, and it just didn't look good. We got a parade of big moves, concluded with Rosa drop-kicking Rose out of the ring. At one point, Rosa landed a tornado dive onto a pile of people. She tried to roll Ito back into the ring, but Guerrero pulled Rosa's legs upon re-entry. A lot of Vicky Guerrero getting involved here tonight. Oh, yep. Something happened in my microphone. The volume got lowered. Interesting. I don't know what happened there, but thank you guys for letting me know in the live chat. That was very weird. I don't know how that could have happened, but okay. Where was I? A lot of Vicky Guerrero getting involved in this match, and the ref just saying, whatever, I don't care. So, where was I? Ito barely was able to land a swinging DDT. Rebel tried to interfere with a crutch, but Rosa sent her packing and caught Ito with the Fire Thunder driver to pick up the win. So they're already pinned and beaten Maki Ito. After the match, Britt Baker immediately attacked Thunder Rosa with a crutch and locked in the lockjaw. As we learned later on in the night, the first ever AEW Women's Main Event will be taking place next week in a lights out match. Unsanctioned lights out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. These two are going to be able to go out there and do whatever they want. And unfortunately, we already know what a lights out match could be in AEW because of Moxley and Omega, and I highly doubt this is going to live up to that or even half of that. I mean, I can probably say with pretty much certainty no one is getting suplexed onto a bed of barbed wire. So, calling it a lights out match, I don't like that because we already know what a lights out match should be in AEW because of the Moxley Mega match. Not Moxley, Omega Moxley match. I wish they would have just called this like a street fight or a no disqualification or just an unsanctioned fight. Now we're going to get the thing where Dynamite is technically over, folks, but the lights go out, the lights come back on, and this is your lights out main event because this match is not sanctioned and this match is not technically part of the show, just like they did last time. But we'll see how it goes. Again, I don't think it can live up to Moxley and Omega, though. Matt Hardy was in the back with Private Party. He said he was disappointed about the match that happened at the pay-per-view, but he has more than enough money and funds to continue their empire. With that, he introduced the new addition to his team, the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. And my first thought was, Butcher and the Blade are really good. Why do they have to be extras? Why do they have to keep getting put into groups? They're really good on their own. Then they got added in with Eddie Kingston, which I didn't mind because Eddie Kingston and them worked really well together. But adding them to Matt Hardy's group, I just don't see that working long term. I really don't. Because the reason Matt Hardy and Private Party work so well together is that they have good comedic timing. But with Butcher and the Blade, they're just serious dudes that want to beat people's ass. So I don't know how this dynamic is going to work of them with Matt Hardy and Private Party. I don't like it. I really just don't like it. But then we got a hell of a match between Darby Allin and Scorpio Sky. This match ruled. So they showed some respect before the bell. Neither man could establish a strong advantage early on as they performed chain wrestling. Sky would occasionally Saw some frustration as Darby Allin would out-wrestle him a little bit. Also, I need to time out this guy in the YouTube chat to keep spamming the same thing. There you go. Did it work? All right. So, Allin would out-wrestle him at points, and it got heated after a lax rope break from Allin. Allin sent Sky to the floor at one point, but Sky avoided a dive. Upon re-entry into the ring, Allin tried to flip up into the ring, but hurt his leg and was knocked down with a forearm, allowing Sky to finally take control. Despite the leg injury, though, Sky opted to target Allin's back during the heat segment. Sky went for a sunset flip, but Allin countered into a cradle for a 2, foreshadowing for later on. Sky immediately followed this up with a strong right hand, dropping Allin to the mat. Allin turned another attempt into a stunner for a 2. Allin then hit the code red for a close near fall. He was then met with a big boot from Sky, who kept up the offense with repeat German suplexes. Allin tried to escape, but Sky hit another suplex into the turnbuckle. Allin would send Sky to the floor and went for a tope suicida, but Sky again avoided/countered and turned this into a cutter on the floor. Again, Darby Allin just loves to beat his body up. Back in the ring, Sky hit a brainbuster for a 2. Allin fired up and went for a coffin drop, but Sky turned it into a powerbomb. Sky then went for the TKO, but then fought out of said TKO into a small package and picked up the victory, retaining the TNT Championship. Darby retains the title. And afterwards, Allin tried to show some respect to Scorpio Sky, and Sky wasn't having it. He attacked Darby, put him in the heel hook. Referees had to come down to get him to break the hold. And then he did the whole, what did I just do? What did I just... I know what I did. And he leaves. So when we come back from break, Tony Schiavone's hampering, did you see the way Scorpio Sky left? Scorpio Sky didn't leave the way he entered. He went out the other tunnel. The tunnel these guys, the Inner Circle, are coming out of. Really trying to push the fact that Scorpio Sky just turned heel. Which, it's like, have you not been watching the show? He's been turning heel for the past month. Like, damn. So, I don't know. Whatever. Scorpio Sky's now full-fledged heel. We all know it. Good to see it. I think he's going to I think Scorpio Sky can really do good as a heel. I think he could be a really good heel. Someone in the YouTube chat, the Twitch chat says, did Kurt Angle get thrown into the title picture quickly in TNA? Not really. Actually, no. His first TNA match was against Abyss. He worked Abyss and Joe. His first TNA match was against Abyss, but his first feud was that Samoa Joe feud. Remember? The two face-to-face, everybody trying to pull him apart, headbutt. I mean, Kurt didn't even go for the world title for a while, till he won the title in the King of the Mountain match, and that was November 7 months after he showed up. After he'd already picked up multiple victories. And actually, I'm corrected here. Hold on. This is weird. Cage match may have something wrong. Okay, never mind. Kurt didn't win the title in King of the Mountain from Christian. Christian lost the title in a triple threat match where Kurt pinned Sting, I believe, is what it was. Give me 2 seconds to look this up. Now I'm intrigued. Yes, Kurt Angle pinned Sting in a triple threat match at Sacrifice 2007 to win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Well, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Then the title somehow got vacated, and at Slammiversary 2007, That's when they introduced the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and Kurt won the King of the Mountain match to win the title that night. So again, Christian never technically was defeated by taking a pin or submitting on TNA television. Christian, that is. The only time he lost an actual match, it was somebody else lost, took the pin. Sting lost the triple threat, and then this King of the Mountain match he lost, which I remember this King of the Mountain match. It was good. Really good. It was Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, Chris Harris, Samoa Joe, Christian Cage. Great King of the Mountain match. When they were really trying to push Chris Harris, I believe right before he left and went to WWE, and they were trying to build him up, and he came in just way out of shape. Anyways. So yeah, Kurt Angle was not just thrown into the title picture in TNA. He actually didn't get into the title picture for 7 months. And even before that, he did some stuff with no. He was not put into the actual on television title picture. He had some matches with Christian on house shows. For the title, but not, anything major on television. So, yeah, Christian was immediately thrown into the title picture. Kurt was not. But with that, we get our main event segment for AEW Dynamite. But before the main event, they announced some stuff for next week. We do know that Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston will be taking on the Good Brothers. Cody will go one-on-one with Penta El Cielo Miedo. Jurassic Express and Bear Country will take on Matt Hardy, Private Party, the Butcher, and the Blade in a, 12-man tag? 10-man tag. 10-man tag. We also know that Jade Cargill will be in action. This will be her second match in AEW. And in an unsanctioned, anything goes lights out match main event, Dr. Britt Baker will take on Thunder Rosa. And Tony was asked about this on the scrum after Revolution. He said, Hikaru Shida has done everything that she can do in All Elite Wrestling. When can we see her main event? And Tony goes, good you asked. The women will main event and probably here soon. And now we know that next week's special edition of Dynamite, St. Patrick's Day Slam, the women are going to main event. Not your women's champion, Hikaru Shida, but it's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, against Thunder Rosa. As we move on, we get the Inner Circle War Council. I thought this was, outside of maybe the first episode of Dynamite when they formed the Inner Circle, the greatest end to an episode of Dynamite we've seen so far. So out comes Jericho, MJF, Jake Hager, Santana, Ortiz, no Wardlow. Jericho said the Inner Circle has been a little bit on a decline recently, but it can easily be fixed because they are the smartest in the business today. He teased maybe adding another member or getting rid of somebody or something happening to change the Inner Circle. But MJF would interrupt and said, well, it might be time to let somebody go. This is when the music of Sammy Guevara would hit. Sammy goes, Chris, I know I'm the last person you want to see, but I have something you need to see. So in the Inner Circle dressing room, Sammy had put up a camera. We got a time lapse of people going in and out. And finally, it was Santana, Ortiz, and Hager in the dressing room, and MJF walks in. And MJF tells them, it's time, right? What we've been planning is going to go down tonight. And they're like, yeah. They all agree with MJF. Basically, seeming like the Inner Circle is going to turn on Jericho. Sammy's there side by side with Chris. It looks like Santana, Ortiz, and Hager are going to attack them. It's going to be 4-on-2. They're outnumbered. And all of a sudden, they look like they're going to go at them. And they turn around And it's actually 5-on-1. MJF is all by himself. Jericho told MJF, shut up. He said, MJF, I brought you into the inner circle, and now you're fired. You're out of the inner circle. MJF begged and pleaded them not to beat him up and said, you really thought I wanted to take over the inner circle? No. This whole time, I was actually building my own group. The lights go out. They actually stay out for a little while, so I don't know exactly what happened here, but they were out for a little longer than you would have expected. But when they do come back, in the ring is Wardlow, Tully Blanchard, Shawn Spears, and FTR. Harwood would smash a bottle over Jake Hager's head, and Spears Pillmanized Guevara with a chair around his neck. Wardlow hit Jericho and put him in with a chokehold, chokehold knee lift finisher. I can't speak or read. FTR then hit Santana and Ortiz with spike pile drivers, assisted by Tully jumping off the middle rope. MJF hit Jericho with a dynamite diamond ring, busting him open. This new group would then grab Chris Jericho and take him up to the top of the stage. I thought they were going to fucking crucify the man. But then Wardlow would powerbomb Jericho off of the stage through tables below, and we see Jericho laying there, blood on his face. The camera then pans up. We see this new unit of MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, FTR, and Tully standing in unison as the show goes off the air. If it's not one thing that AEW can do great, it is build up a new heel faction. That is something that I think they can do really well. Tony Khan knows how to create a segment to build up a great heel faction. Now, I know what you're going to say. December 18th, 2019. Yeah, that didn't go that well for building up Dark Order as a big heel faction. But they did it with Inner Circle. Now they're doing it with whatever this new group is, whether they're Four Horsemen or not. I don't know. But here's my theory. You now have a group that is Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, Santana, and Ortiz against a group that is MJF, Wardlow, FTR, and Shawn Spears. 5-on-5. The Elite anything anymore. We've already got Stadium Stampede. Give me Blood and Guts. This is your Blood and Guts match. Inner Circle versus MJF's new group. I'm going to call them 4 Horsemen for now. They're the 5 Horsemen. Call them the 5 Horsemen. I don't fucking care. But that's what I think this could lead to. You're finally going to get Blood and Guts. AEW's version of War Games. Got the Inner Circle 5 versus MJF's new group of the 5 Horsemen. Led by Tully Blanchard. Or managed by Tully Blanchard. Whatever you want to call it. But I thought that the end of this show was phenomenal. I thought this show ended greatly. And it really piques my interest going forward, going, ooh, how the fuck are they going to top this? What is next? And if it is Blood and Guts, hell yeah. Where do they do Blood and Guts? I don't know. Double or Nothing? May 30th? Maybe a little far out? Do they have a big TNT, Fight for the Fallen Fighter Fest style show coming up? I mean, they got a special name for next week's Dynamite, but I don't think they're really building that as a big attraction episode. It's just a cool name because it's St. Patrick's Day. So I don't think they wait all the way till May 30th to do this match, and we get it on some special episode of Dynamite like we were going to get before anyways. It was going to be a special episode of Dynamite, but I'm intrigued because if this does lead to the Blood and Guts match, I mean, perfect. It'd be perfect. Not only we have a new heel group, Inner Circle, now baby faces. Jericho worked his first 2 years in AEW as the heel, and now he's in a contract year. I'm not saying Jericho's going to leave, but in what could maybe be his final year in AEW, at least full-time, working as a babyface. Why not? Blood and Guts, let's do it. But with that was AEW Dynamite. Again, I didn't particularly care for the first half of the show, but the second half of the show really ramped up and really got me good. But let's check our poll to see what you guys thought of tonight's AEW Dynamite. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 67% of you on Twitch liked the show, 22% didn't like the show, and 11% thought it was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 58% of you did like tonight's show, 22% thought it was just all right, and 18% did not like the show. Now, we're going to talk about NXT. Let's throw our NXT poll up. What did you guys think of tonight's NXT? Oops, I clicked the wrong button. I almost ended the stream. What do you think of tonight's NXT? Also, guys, remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. Right. I didn't like it. Let's throw that up here. I want to say thank you to Cameron Mirza for the super chat donation. He says, who do you think to challenge Kenny for the belt? Well, I mean, they set it up tonight. It's freaking Christian Cage, unfortunately. And I'm saying unfortunately because he hasn't done anything in AEW to prove that he deserves a title shot other than they say he can outwork anybody. Which, I mean, we know Christian's a great worker. Randy Orton has said in the past that Christian may be one of the greatest workers of all time as far as being able to go out there and having a match with anybody and putting on a good match with anybody. But if I'm going to say who's next for Kenny, it looks like Christian Cage. Right. Like it. All right, the polls are live on both Twitch and YouTube. All right, so as we move over here, pull up my notes for NXT. NXT kicked off with two big announcements from William Regal. Showed footage of champions and challengers arriving to the building ahead of tonight's match, and Regal was already in the ring. Regal's in the ring, and he's talking about the history of NXT TakeOver, and he sends it to a video package where they announce the next NXT TakeOver is NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver will be a 2-night event over WrestleMania weekend. Well, right before WrestleMania weekend. With that, NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1 will be on April 7th and will be airing on the USA Network. Night 2, and it's going to be in the normal 8 p.m. Eastern slot. Now, here's the thing. We're getting NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1 on the USA Network at 8 p.m. Eastern. But here is my big question. The WWE and the USA Network. Do they air this live coast to coast? Or is it still 8 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific? Could they? I think they should air it coast to coast, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Live for everybody. If it is being billed as TakeOver, it needs to be live coast to coast, worldwide. It needs to be. Or else it loses. To me, I mean, I could still watch it at 5 Pacific time because Comcast gives me what's called TV Go channels, and it's just the East Coast feed. But some people with certain cable companies, like AT&T Uverse and Cox and stuff, on the West Coast may not get it live. And if it's built as a takeover, then I think it needs to go live coast to coast. That's night 1. Night 2, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, Thursday, April 8th, airing exclusively on Peacock. I assume that's exclusively on Peacock in the United States, and then, well, wherever else across the nation, or not nation, but world, however else you guys normally watch WWE pay-per-views and takeovers and stuff. But with that, this takeover still has the pirate thing to fit WrestleMania week. And there we go. NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, a 2-night event, April 7th, Wednesday, April 7th on the USA Network, and Thursday, April 8th on Peacock. Because remember, the Sunday before that is when the network goes away. The WWE Network goes away on Easter, April 4th. So, with that, Regal is standing in the ring still, and he's got a little podium behind him. He said, "That's not my only, announcement." He's got all the women of NXT. Didn't see Taya Valkyrie out there though. On the all the women, and I don't think I saw Io or Tony out there either, but they were getting ready for their match, whatever. All the women of NXT out on the ramp. He's like, "I would like to call in the winners of the 2021 Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, please join me in the ring." They get in the ring, and Regal says, "We had a lot of stuff happen last week with the women's tag title match and all that, and I'm sick and tired of waiting around for WWE to make a decision. So I myself made a decision, and the NXT team has decided to create our own NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, and you are the first NXT Women's Tag Team Champions." He awarded those titles to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. They take the titles, put them over their shoulders, and there we go. Kai and Gonzalez then would go on to cut a heel promo, bragging about how they defeated all the other teams in NXT, about how they're going to carry these titles for a very, very long time, before Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon would jump into the ring. They said, "Awesome, we've got these new women's tag team titles here in NXT, but now here's the thing. You need challengers. We defeated everybody on our side of the bracket. You defeated everybody on your side of the bracket, and the finals should have gone a different way. With that, we want to challenge you for the tag team titles. How about we do it tonight?" And they all look at Regal, and Regal's like, "Sure, let's do it. Let's make this match for tonight." So we get women's tag team title match set for later on in the night on NXT. And then NXT, they ain't even playing. They go, "All right, we made these two announcements. Women's title match now. Io, Toni Storm." I love this match. This match was super fun. Io Shirai and Toni Storm went out there and killed it. Shirai gained the early advantage, and she rocked Storm with some strikes. Shirai applied a Cobra Clutch twist. Moments later, Storm tripped up Shirai on the apron. Storm then sent Shirai crashing into the ring steps. Shirai was down selling as the show cut to picture-in-picture commercials. Storm worked over Shirai during the break, but Shirai fired back up as the show came back from commercial. Shirai was tripped up again, this time on the top turnbuckle. Storm with a superplex on Shirai off of it. Shirai came back with the backdrop. Came back after backdropping Storm on the apron, and Shirai followed it up with a moonsault on the top turnbuckle to the floor. Storm was still able to trip up Shirai just moments later. Storm with a Liger bomb for a 2. Shirai responded with a Liger spot of her own as she hit Storm with a Sote palm strike. Storm was then able to get a rope break as Shirai tried to apply a crossface. Running knee strike in the corner by Shirai, but she missed a moonsault press attempt. Toni then struck her with the Storm Zero for a very close near fall. Storm then climbed the turnbuckles for a Harley Race diving headbutt. Shirai rolled out of the way, though, leaving Storm to crash and burn as Storm caught her in a crossface and made Io caught Storm in a crossface and made her tap out. So with that, Toni Storm taps out, and Io Shirai retains the NXT Women's Championship. And my first thought was, okay, either way this match would have went, I'm not upset. Toni Storm, as a champion, probably would have made a great champion. Io retaining, we know she's a great champion, but what's next for Io? And I'll get to that later. I don't like what they set up later. See NXT champion Finn Balor. He's backstage in his dressing room. Cut a promo on Adam Cole. He concluded by saying he defeated Cole to win this title, and he'll defeat Cole tonight. Next up, we had Pete Dunne versus Jake Atlas. All right match. Basically, it was a Pete Dunne showcase. Dunne grounded Atlas early on, but Atlas springboarded into a flurry, some may say. And then Dunne stopped him cold in his tracks. Atlas tried to go after Dunne again with a series of strikes, which led to a standing moonsault. Atlas went for his cartwheel DDT, but Dunne targeted his arm. Atlas crashed in the ring, and the Bruiserweight went to work. Did a finger break spot in an armbar. Atlas, with his arms trapped behind him, verbally submitted and said, "I quit." So afterwards, Pete Dunne's in the ring with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Basically said, "I'm the best technical wrestler in the world. And I don't think there's anybody that can prove me wrong. So how about somebody try to prove me wrong?" He basically made a challenge to anybody. My first thought was, fuck. He said he's the best technical wrestler in the world. Too bad we can't get Zack Sabre Jr. here. That would be a hell of a match. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Pete Dunne. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Shankar Maran in the chat says, will WWE Network be available in Asia? In Asia, whatever you have now, the WWE Network is not changing. The WWE Network is only changing in America. In the U.S., the normal WWE Network is going away, and it is migrating not smoothly into Peacock. So if you live outside of the United States, whatever you have for the WWE Network, because I know in different countries there's different versions of it, whatever you have now is what you will have going forward still. Nothing is changing if you live outside of the United States. So if they ever say something of, well, this pay-per-view is exclusively on Peacock, well, that's for the United States. So that's what that all means. Going forward, Imperium cut a pre-tape promo, basically trying to recruit Timothy Thatcher. And if you don't remember or know, so originally, Imperium was a group called Ringkampf, or Ringkampf, I think is what it was. Ringkampf, yeah. The group called Ringkampf. And Ringkampf was Walter, Marcel Barthel, someone named, I want to say, Christian Jacoby, who was not in WWE, and Timothy Thatcher. Now, WWE's version has added Alexander Wolf and Fabian Eichner. But now, they are basically saying, Timothy, you were our brother before. Come be our brother again. So, I think this dynamic is interesting. Basically, they're playing it off as Timothy Thatcher is torn. He doesn't know what to do. Does he stay with Tommaso Ciampa? Or does he go to Imperium, his old brothers of Ringkampf? Leon Ruff cut a backstage promo on Isaiah Swerve Scott. Basically, we learned that, well, Ruff versus Scott is taking place next week. We then got our women's tag team title match, our second of 3 title matches on the night. It was the new champions of less than an hour, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, against Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Blackheart locked up with Kai early and locked her in a Texas cloverleaf. Kai escaped the rope break. Both went for high kicks, leading to a double down spot before the commercial break. Heel champs worked over Blackheart during said commercial break. A hot tag after the break saw Ember Moon come in and clear house. Moon cleared everybody out, and Blackheart flew through the ropes with the Tope Suicida. Kai countered Moon's momentum, and Gonzalez tagged back in. Double team moves and a double team go to kick got the heels a close near fall. Gonzalez with a gory special on Moon, and then she flipped Moon over into a sit-out powerbomb in a really cool spot. Blackheart then ran wild on Dakota Kai, leading to a close 2. More near falls. for the challengers, but Kai kept kicking out. Gonzalez then broke up a pinning attempt at one point, and Blackheart used a stunner to create some space. Moon then leapt off the top with the Eclipse. Gonzalez blocked Moon's finisher, and she countered a Hurricane Rana. Gonzalez was fighting for a powerbomb when Kai collided into them. So Gonzalez and Moon went tumbling over the top rope. Blackheart then rolls up with an O'Connor roll. Dakota Kai bridges it and pins her to become the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Yes, in about an hour's time, they awarded these women the tag team titles and took them from them in an hour's time. Literally. It was like 10 after the hour when Dakota and Raquel were gifted the titles. And it was 5 after the top of the next hour when this match ended. Roughly. So it was about an hour title reign. Why? How are we supposed to believe in these titles anymore? Like, what kind of momentum are these tag titles supposed to have if you're literally gonna just hot shot them that quick? They're on one person, they're on the next person. When Dakota and Ember gonna lose them in their next defense? Like, really? Really? We go to the back. All the women are congratulating Ember and Dakota. No, Ember and Dakota. Ember and Shotzi. Except Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, who are disgusted. Johnny comes up and says, that should be you as the tag titles. He says, hey, where's Austin? Austin Theory appears. He asks, hey, did you pay off that therapist last week? And we get some weird stuff more about Dexter Lumis. And yeah, Dexter Lumis versus Austin Theory next week on NXT. Then we go into Zai Lee versus Kaden Carter. We got 3 women's matches on the show tonight. Kudos, WWE. Love it. Love seeing more women get spotlighted on one show. The more we can see of the women, the better. Because in NXT, we usually get 1, if not sometimes 2 women's matches. But to get 3, heck yeah. Especially 3 that are, well, at least 2 of them are in stories that have been going on for a while. This Zai Lee, Kaden Carter, Casey Catanzaro stuff's been going on for a while, as well as the Tony Storm, Io Shirai stuff has been going on for a little while as well. But anyways, Carter got some offense early. More offense than anybody else has gotten on Zai Lee since her character change. Lee soon cut her off, though. Casey Catanzaro came down to the ring on a crutch. Now remember, Casey Catanzaro has a legit LCL tear. Not expected to be out that long, but for her to go out here and somewhat get physical, okay. We saw that she did things to other people, but nobody touched her. As we saw, nobody touched her. So they wanted to keep her as safe as possible with not just taking her off TV and saying, hey, forget about her. But anyways, she came down with her crutch. An enraged Catanzaro, though, would hit Zai Lee after she was thrown from the ring, causing the disqualification. Catanzaro kept hitting Zai Lee with a crutch. She jumped in the ring, cornered her in the corner, and just kept beating her down before Boa would jump in. Catanzaro tried to hit Boa with a crutch. He grabbed the crutch and crushed it, threw it out of the ring before Carter nailed him with another crutch. The supposed baby faces, Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter, who did the heel thing of attacking with weapons, ran away like scared baby heels. Anyways, cool. Jordan Devlin, who we have not seen on NXT proper for quite a while, to be honest, legit, real Cruiserweight champion, was at an airport. He said, we got this big takeover coming up. And we've got 2 NXT Cruiserweight champions, but there really should only be 1 NXT Cruiserweight champion. And you know what? My travel ban, it lifted today, so I'm coming to the United States. And we're going to find out who the real NXT Cruiserweight champion really is. Well, it looks like we've got a Cruiserweight title unification match maybe taking place at TakeOver, which I like and don't like. I like that they're finally going to put the titles back together, but at the same time, I like them being separate. I like there being an NXT UK Cruiserweight Champion and an NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Because in NXT UK, all you have is the NXT UK title for the men other than the tag titles. And Walter just runs through everybody. Cool, whatever. You need something else for the smaller guys to fight for. Why not? Keep that other Cruiserweight Championship in NXT UK, call it the NXT UK Cruiserweight Championship, and go roll with that. There are plenty of guys in NXT UK that can be fighting for that title. I actually was praising that they were keeping the titles separately recently, but I guess they're going to unify them. Okay, whatever. Should be a really good match, Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar. We then got a video package hyping up Zoe Stark. This is one of their newer signees that looks like they're really, really getting behind. In the back, Santos Escobar is upset with William Regal over the Jordan Devlin stuff. And Legado del Fantasma were supposed to have a tag team match against the Grizzly Young Vets. They wanted Escobar out there with them. And he's like, hey, I got to deal with this stuff with Regal. You guys go. I believe in you. Fonzie says they do have the Heritage Cup. True. But, I like that they have because there are so many smaller guys in NXT UK, I like that they have a cruiserweight title there. You know what I mean? So this match was no more than an angle. And an angle that I wasn't particularly fond of. MSK came down to distract the grizzled young vets. They were dressed as astronauts, just like Fandango was last week. They teased a little bit of acting like Fandango, and MSK took off the helmets to reveal that it was them all along. They distracted James Drake, and Wilder rolled them up to pick up the victory. Breezango would then come out and attack Legado del Fantasma. Breezango danced with MSK, and the heels fled. So here's my thing. MSK is next in line for Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. They already beat the fucking Grizzle Young Veterans in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. So why do we need to continue that feud for when we really need to be building up the interest of MSK challenging for the NXT tag titles? I don't understand this. This is unnecessary booking leading into TakeOver. I get we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, no, I don't get we've only got 4 weeks to TakeOver. Start building these guys up as the challengers. They won the Dusty Cup. Now, tell us at TakeOver they're going to get the title shot. Not, oh, hey, we're probably going to get an 8-man tag here soon. MSK and Fandango against GVY, Grizzled Young, GYV, and Legado del Fantasma. No, why do we need this? Why do they need to be involved in this when they already earned their tag title shot? To me, it doesn't really make much sense. In the back, Gonzalez and Kai are being interviewed, and they really don't want to be interviewed here when Io Shirai would interrupt. Basically, Io would look at Raquel. Raquel would stand up, and Io just said, I want you next. What? What a fucking way to build up your next title match. The champion just comes up to a loser and goes, I want you next. Bitch just lost the title match. She was gifted titles that she couldn't keep for an hour, and now we're just going to put her in the NXT World title match? What kind of logic does that make? None. How are you going to go from in a hour and a half time period, go from I've just been awarded the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. I'm the first ever NXT Women's Tag Team champion. 55 minutes, 60 minutes later, I just lost the tag titles. 30 minutes later, I'm getting a title shot for the NXT Women's title? Heck yeah. How the fuck do you do that in one night? It's not like they lost and Raquel beat the shit out of somebody to show her anger and frustration. No. They lost, and then we saw them sulking in the back. Frustrated and upset. So, and I get what people are going to say. I already know what people are going to say. But Tim, Raquel pinned Io in the War Games match. Okay, when was that? November, December, January, February, March. 4 months ago? By the time TakeOver comes, like 5 months ago? No. You've already sailed that ship a long time ago on Raquel. Yeah, people are going to remember she pinned the champion months ago. But if you're going to do that, you got to give Raquel a couple big wins in singles matches. How do you take somebody from losing tag titles to all of a sudden just going, all right, now you're the singles number one contender? It makes goddamn absolutely no sense whatsoever. Get some announcements for next week. Dexter Lumis versus Austin Theory. Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Leon Ruff. And the in-ring debut of L.A. Knight. L.A. Knight, I think I missed it earlier, but L.A. Knight cut a promo saying he's ready for his match next week, and he was attacked by Bronson Reed. So, we also teased that possibly next week, Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa against Imperium. The match was not officially made yet, but Ciampa basically said, hey, I heard what they're trying to do. It's old man Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. How about it's us against them? So we'll see. That should be a fun match. Ciampa and Thatcher versus two members of Imperium, most likely Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner. Then we go on to our main event. A hell of a main event. It's Finn Balor defending the NXT World Championship. Well, not World Championship, but NXT Championship against Adam Cole. They say that Cole has his good luck gear on because he's wearing the same gear that he won the first time he won the NXT Championship. Well, the only time he won the NXT Championship. The match started off hot. Lots of crowd noise pumped in. But again, we still do have a real crowd there, so that's cool. And this had a really big fight feel to it. Counters and reversals early off that led to a standoff. It gave way to a picture-in-picture commercial and chain wrestling throughout that break. Eventually, after the break, Cole went to work on Balor. And Cole targeted Balor's back. Balor would answer back by targeting the leg of Adam Cole. Neither really had an advantage for long as the fight spilled to the outside. Balor reversed an attempted suplex to give Cole a suplex on the floor. Both were down selling as the show cut to another picture-in-picture break. Balor targeted Cole's back during this break. Balor applied a sharpshooter. They were trading strikes when the show returned, and Cole struck with a Ushigoroshi brainbuster for a near fall. Cole went for the Panama Sunrise, but Balor countered it and delivered a sling blade. Shotgun dropkick by Balor as he goes for a coup de grace. Cole then moved out of the way and hit Balor with a super kick. Balor sold his surgically repaired jaw. Cole went for a crossface, and Balor struggled to break free. Cole continued countering Balor and reapplying the hold. Eventually, Balor was able to break with the ropes. Cole countered an attempt in 1916, and he super kicked Balor in the knee. Pulling down his knee pad, Cole signaled he was going for the last shot. He connected with the last shot, but Balor kicked out at 2.5. They got some "This is awesome" chants. They felt more piped in than the crowd that was there, so I didn't like that. Cole at one point executed a Panama Sunrise, but Balor kicked out again, very close to a near fall. Cole sold the kick out with a look of disbelief. Balor sent Cole outside the ring, and Cole took a bump on the floor. Cole was trying to get to his feet when Kyle O'Reilly would emerge from the shadows. O'Reilly came out looking like the best friend from Terminator 2. Fucking John Connor's best buddy, wearing the 80s band T-shirt, the fucking denim no-sleeve jacket, vest, whatever you want to call it, wristbands, studded belt. He was all metalled out. Punk rock Kyle O'Reilly. Again, looked like the best friend from T2. Basically just stared a hole into Adam Cole ringside. Cole looked like he had seen a ghost. Balor would then give Cole a 1916 on the floor. He rolled Cole back into the ring. O'Reilly was with a stone-faced stare, just kept looking on. Balor delivered a coup de grace and then covered Adam Cole to pick up the victory. After the match, O'Reilly would confront Adam Cole in the ring. Cole was like, don't do it. We're brothers. Kyle, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done what I did. We're brothers. We're brothers. Don't do this. And then he went for the low blow. Kyle O'Reilly blocks it. Cole looks like he's scared for his life. And O'Reilly attacks. The two start battling. They fall to the outside. Referees break it up. Kyle O'Reilly tries to go for the brainbuster on the steps, just like Adam Cole did to him. And, well, referees stop it. Basically, this gave me Stone Cold Bret Hart vibes from Raw 97. And Adam Cole runs off. Kyle O'Reilly chases after him. And Finn's in the ring just like holding the belt, standing there going, He then feels something behind him and he goes, what took you so long? As the camera pans out, there's Karrion Kross, the former NXT champion who never lost the title, wants his title back. So now we are building up Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross. And on tonight's show, we basically built a number of matches for TakeOver. We've got NXT Championship, Finn Balor, Karrion Kross, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. NXT Women's Championship, Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez. I don't know how I feel about that. We've also got Cruiserweight Champion versus Cruiserweight Champion. That's 4 matches. And what I would assume would be MSK challenging Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan for the NXT Tag Team titles. If you're not going to do it last week like they wanted, or even this week, why not just wait and do it at the pay-per-view? You got 2 takeovers that you have to fill. So there you go. 5 matches already that we know are possible for NXT TakeOver. What is it called? Stand and Deliver. Again, I thought another show that had a very strong finish. The Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole stuff was really strong. The main event between Adam Cole and Finn Balor was great. And then the build that we've all been waiting for. The moment we've all been waiting for since December. When Karrion Kross was cleared to return. Karrion Kross wants his baby back. He wants that belt back that he didn't even get to hold for 4 days. 4 days. And that's only because there's 4 days between TakeOver and NXT. But with that, that was NXT. Check out our poll really fast. Also, remember, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. 67% of you on Twitch did like tonight's NXT. 17% thought it was all right, and 17% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 78% liked it, 14% thought it was all right, and 7% did not. Now, Jose De Leon on the YouTube chat says, direct shows East Coast feed. Correct. Satellite TV, Dish Network and Direct TV, you only get the East Coast feed. But if you have cable TV, Xfinity, AT&T Uverse, Cox, or so forth, you only get the West Coast feed. Now, Xfinity, I know this because I have Xfinity, gives you what is called TV Go channels. Now, you don't get those on just your normal set-top cable box. You only get the TV Go channels if you're watching on your computer, on the Xfinity Stream website, or on your mobile device. But if you're watching with just your X1 box, your regular Xfinity cable box, you don't get the TV Go channels. Nor do you get it on the Roku app either. You only get the West Coast feed. So, yes, Direct gives you the East Coast feed because that's what satellite TV does. That's what satellite TV has always done. You always get the East Coast feed of everything. I remember back in the day when I had DirecTV as a kid, when like Nickelodeon and Disney Channel stuff, we would get both, and even I think USA Network used to do it too. We would get the East Coast and West Coast feed. But now they only just do the East Coast feed. But with that, let's check out the text messages to see what you guys thought of tonight's shows. Got a couple, not many. First says, definitely not how I thought they'd break MJF off of Inner Circle. I thought he would slowly turn against them and each other but not complaining, though. Yeah, no. Great swerve that I don't know if anybody saw coming. This person says, who do you think is going to challenge for the AEW Women's Championship? I think Britt Baker wins the lights out match. Wins the lights out match against Thunder Rosa, and then moves on to challenge and most likely win the NXT Women's World Championship. I mean, Britt Baker should have won that title a long time ago. It says, what do you think they took the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships off Dakota? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because when they lost, as soon as the match ended and I saw that they lost, I go, they're going to break up Dakota and Raquel's going to get mad at Dakota and beat her ass. But that's not what happened. So now I have no clue. Person says, is it true Karrion Kross is being called up to the main roster soon? I believe so. Because as we reported on Monday, Karrion Kross was called to Raw to have a potential meeting with Vince McMahon. So I don't know what's going to happen here at TakeOver. But if that meeting with Vince went well, he may be coming up after Mania. Finn keeps the belt. Versus says, as much as I love Christian as my favorite underrated wrestler, I still got mixed feelings about him joining AEW instead of rejoining WWE. He should have had a final match with Big E for the IC title at WrestleMania, then joined AEW. You can't do that. If you're going to say, I want one match just at WrestleMania for the IC title, you can't do that. WWE is not going to do that. They're going to say, you want to wrestle Big E at WrestleMania? Sign this contract. They're not going to say, we'll give you a one-off contract to have one match and then you can go anywhere else. No, that's not going to happen. If he was going to have that one final match in WWE, it was going to be on a 3-year deal. That hear me out, nothing. That already is implausible. You can't do I'm going to have one more match at WWE. I'm going to work WrestleMania and then go to AEW. No, that's not how it works. Versus says, for a possible Cole O'Reilly match at the next TakeOver, do you see a stipulation being added like street fight, no disqualification? 100%. 100% this match is going to be a street fight. No, steel cage. Adam Cole keeps running from Kyle O'Reilly. Big cage match. No one can get in. No one can get out. No member of Undisputed Era can interfere. And Kyle O'Reilly knows that Adam Cole can't run away. And this person says, with a 2-night takeover, one on Wednesday and the other on Thursday, do you think Thursday is the new night instead of Tuesday? No. Tuesday will be the new night of NXT on the USA Network. Just because they're doing the Thursday thing had nothing to do with anything. It's just the night after NXT on Wednesday, and that's not on USA. That second night on Thursday is on Peacock. So there we go. I believe April 13th should be that first Tuesday episode of NXT on the USA Network. And that is all being done because of hockey in the NHL. The NHL has with NBC Universal, they have Hockey Night in America, which is Wednesday nights. Knowing now that NBC Sportsnet is closing down by the end of the year, all of that NBC Sports content is coming to the USA Network. Even before NBC Sports shuts down officially, they will be simulcasting NBC Sports content on both NBC Sports and USA. So we will be seeing hockey on USA and NBC Sports for a while, and that's why they need to move NXT off so Hockey Night in America can be on that Wednesday night on the USA Network and get that established foothold of, okay, yes, you can still watch it on NBC Sportsnet right now, but it's also on USA because, hey, it's eventually going to only be on USA, so they're slowly starting to get people ready to transfer over. We'll see that with some of the NASCAR races as well that do air on NBC Sportsnet. This one says, anyone get HBK Jericho highlight reel vibes when they crawled to MJF? I didn't think of that at all, but I can see it now. I can see it. And finally, this last person says, is WWE moving to a different location? Yes. They have to move out of the Thunderdome before April 9th, because April 9th is the first home game for the Tampa Bay Rays, where they will be hosting the New York Yankees that entire weekend. So Stephanie McMahon confirmed this in an interview. They have to be out of the Thunderdome before that final SmackDown before Mania. So I think they're going to I don't know exactly, but it's a University of Tampa, maybe? I can look it up. It is... They are moving to... Presumably, we don't know 100% for sure, but it is thought that they are moving to the USF Sun Dome, also known as the Yuengling Center, which is on the University of South Florida campus in Tampa. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for you guys joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, we will be back live on Friday talking Friday Night SmackDown. You can also follow us on social media, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD, Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, Twitter @PW Unlimited, and also remember to keep an eye on our website, pwunlimited.co, and turn on post notifications on our website to know whenever a new news story does go live up on our website. Over 500 of you have supported our website in turning on post notifications, and I really, really do appreciate that. That number grows every single day with more and more of you helping our website grow. So with that, again, have a great night, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you right back here Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a good one, guys.